Good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. This is Kevin Moon from God's Country. It's time for your primetime forecast on Dr. Don's weather. Now, here's my friend, Dr. Don.
Howdy-ho, East Alabama and West Georgia. Welcome to your hump day. Some of you have a short week this week, and we welcome you to our weather forecast, your primetime forecast. We're going to let you know exactly what type of effects Tropical Storm or Hurricane Nichole will have on the weather for East Alabama. We'll also tell you about a vigorous cold front headed our way Saturday morning. Our temperatures will take a nosedive. So big changes, big roller coaster ride in the weather forecast this week, all coming up on this morning's edition of your primetime forecast for Wednesday, November 9, 2022, from the Alpha Weather Center. Jamie Dukas, your local Alpha agent. Folks, you need to get that cost-free, no-obligation insurance quote today from Jamie Dukas. He can save you money, and it's very easy to do that. All you have to do is scan that QR code right there on the screen, or click that link at the top of the video, or call Jamie at 256-831-7770. Doesn't cost you a dime. It only takes a minute or two, and he can tell you whether or not he can save you money, and odds are he can. So, what's the holdup here? It's not going to cost you a dime to find out what Jamie Dukas can do for you. So be sure and get in touch with Jamie today and put a little extra money back in that bank account. Very important this time of the economic season that we are currently in. Christmas is on the way. And y'all need to be able to afford to buy me some extra Christmas gifts this year. So check it out. All right, so let's get started with the tropics. Here's the deal this morning with Nichole. This is as of 4 a.m. this morning. Tropical storm Nichole is centered at 26.6 north, 75.7 west. Maximum sustained winds are 70 miles per hour. Movement is to the west southwest at 13 miles per hour, and that general motion will continue today. We expect that Nichole will make landfall around 1 a.m. Thursday morning along the southern Florida coast, either as a strong tropical storm or a Category 1 hurricane. Still a lot of questions there. And then we think Nichole is going to make it all the way across the state of Florida and potentially back out in the Gulf of Mexico, somewhere just north of Tampa, and then turn on off to the north and eventually northeast, making landfall right there along the Big Bend area of Florida, and then into Georgia, down there around Tifton or Valdosta, and then curve back up to the northeast across middle Georgia, and then back up into South Carolina, maybe north of Augusta, and that would be sometime around 1 p.m. Friday. So that's going to pretty much be the closest approach to East Alabama and West Georgia. About 300 miles to your east is about as close as the storm is going to get, 250 to 300 miles. But that's going to be close enough because this is going to be a rather large storm, large as in the footprint of the storm, not as in the intensity. So it's going to be producing some significant rain. It's going to be producing some gusty winds. So I think Thursday afternoon into Thursday night, maybe early Friday morning is the window for most of the effects across East Alabama and West Georgia. And what are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about breezy conditions with winds at 15 to 20, maybe occasionally gusting to 30 miles per hour. A peak wind gust of 35 miles per hour in some of the higher elevations, not out of the question. And then rainfall amounts anywhere from 1 inch to about 3 inches. I think that's going to vary widely across the area and as the storm moves through. So 1 to 3 inches and wind gust of around 25 to 30 miles per hour, I think, will be common. Now, that's nothing much more than a summertime afternoon thunderstorm, but the issue is those effects will continue for 12 hours or more. So it's going to be a long duration event. So we could see some trees come down. Of course, when trees come down, we lose power lines, and there could be some scattered power outages across the area. But this is not going to be a major deal, but it is certainly something to pay attention to. We're not anticipating a major severe weather outbreak with this storm system. If we have any severe weather, and I'm talking tornadoes, that threat most likely is going to be confined to the Georgia coast or certainly to the east of the I-75 corridor through the state of Georgia. I would not expect any severe weather across East Alabama or West Georgia during this event. All right, we'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. Here are the current conditions at the East Alabama Bee Company in 5 Points, Alabama. 53 degrees currently. A little chilly out there this morning. High temperature around 80 degrees yesterday. Fair skies currently. The wind is out of the east-southeast at around 12 miles per hour, gusting to 13 miles per hour. And that's that pressure gradient because we're kind of between low pressure, which is Nichole, and high pressure, which is up in the New England states this morning. So we're kind of getting squeezed, and so that's why it's kind of breezy out there. Humidity currently is 47%. The barometric pressure at 30.36. No rain so far. Sunrise this morning at 6:05, and the sun sets this evening at 4:45 p.m. Hey, don't forget to stop by M.L. Aubrey's in downtown Roanoke or the Randolph Farmers Co-op in Wedowee to pick up that East Alabama Bee Company honey. So this afternoon, we're headed for about 66 degrees in Roanoke. It's going to be somewhat cooler today versus yesterday. 67 in Ashland. We'll hit 67 in Lineville. 65 up in Wedowee. We'll go into about 67 degrees in Franklin. And we'll hit 71 down in Tallahassee. Here's the 6-day forecast from the Alpha Weather Center. Jamie Dukas, your local Alpha agent. Mostly sunny today. It's going to be a nice day with a high temperature of 66 this afternoon. It'll be a little breezy, and we'll dip down into the low 50s for your overnight low this evening. Weather starts to change on Thursday. We'll start to see clouds on the increase by noon tomorrow. Again, it'll be a breezy day with winds gusting as high as 30 miles per hour, and we'll introduce a 40% chance of rain by late afternoon. 67 your high on Thursday, down to 59 on Thursday night. And you see the rain chances. They go up on Thursday night as Nichole approaches from the southeast. 90% chance of rain. 1 to 3 inches of rain will be common across East Alabama and West Georgia. And then on Friday morning when you get up, it's probably going to be pouring outside. And that will continue through about noon on Friday. Then we start to see Nichole pull off to the northeast up into South Carolina and North Carolina. And Nichole will take the rain and wind with it, so things will start to slowly improve Friday afternoon. And I think by the time we hit high school football playoffs on Friday night, weather's not going to be too bad. I think it certainly will be dry. It still may be a little breezy. High temperature of 70 on Friday, and we'll dip down into the upper 40s for the overnight low on Friday. And just as we get through with Nichole, here comes a strong cold front from the northwest. It's going to blow in here on Saturday. Look at that. We're talking a high temperature on Saturday of 57 degrees with a breezy northwest wind in the wake of Nichole. It's going to be a blustery day on Saturday. We'll go into the low 30s for overnight lows on Saturday night. And then look at Sunday, 51. As a matter of fact, some locations may not get out of the 40s on Sunday for daytime highs. Into the upper 20s for your overnight low Sunday night. And then on Monday, sunshine, 54 in the afternoon, 34 for your overnight low. So it certainly will feel like fall as we head toward this weekend. Southern Union State Community College Live Doppler HD radar. We're showing you the southeastern United States, and you can see the expected track of Nichole. Nichole is still just east of the Bahamas this morning, expected to move right over the Bahamas as a strong tropical storm or a Category 1 hurricane. It really kind of remains to be seen what happens to Nichole as she moves over the landmass there around the Bahamas. We think it's going to tear it apart just enough to where it will be a strong tropical storm when it makes landfall down here north of Miami, somewhere around Jupiter, Florida. And again, that would be early tomorrow morning. And then continuing across the state of Florida and crossing back out into the Gulf of Mexico just north of Tampa. Now, this track is a little bit further to the west than what we were looking at yesterday morning. That's why we've got an increased chance of rain and wind across East Alabama. It's going to be a little closer to us than we originally thought. But then the storm will continue to the north, making landfall again somewhere in the Big Bend area, and then passing close to Tallahassee, Florida, just south of Albany, Georgia, before it turns back up to the northeast, and will trek across middle Georgia, somewhere around or just to the east of Macon, crossing over I-16 there north of Cochran, and then across I-20 out there between just to the west of Augusta, Georgia, then across Washington and up across Lake Hartwell, and then into South Carolina to the southeast of Elberton, Georgia. And that would be out there on Friday afternoon into early Saturday morning. So again, the closest approach to East Alabama and West Georgia will probably be around Macon, Georgia. And so, anywhere from around 200 to 250 miles is the closest approach to East Alabama and West Georgia. But that certainly will be close enough to bring us some rain and gusty winds across the region, primarily Thursday night into early Friday morning. But I really think the big story is going to be the cold air that comes blowing in here on Saturday morning into the balance of the weekend. Don't forget to follow us over on Twitter. We broadcast all of our weather information on Twitter, just as we do on Facebook, YouTube, and at DrDonWX.com. That's our home on the World Wide Web. We invite you to go there and click on that donate button on the upper right-hand corner of our home page so that you can help support us here on Dr. Don's Weather. That's what keeps us going, especially those folks you see scrolling on the left-hand side of your screen, like Mr. Jimmy Stevens of Jimmy Stevens Construction and Miss Donna McKay and the Town Council in the town of Wadley. Thank you for being a partner. If you or someone you know owns a business and you'd like to be a partner, all you have to do is send me a message on Messenger, and we can have you started by the time we do our next weather forecast, which, if the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise, will come first thing tomorrow morning right here on Dr. Don's Weather. Enjoy your Wednesday. I see you tomorrow. Bye now.